Hello everybody and welcome back to the Dragon's Library. So today we are going to be talking about Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves. It is a new movie that came out recently and I loved it. So let's get right into it. Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves is a fantasy heist movie made sort of as an action comedy. It is based in the Dungeons & Dragons universe. For those of you who don't know, it's a series of tabletop role-playing games, and I don't even know why I'm saying that, because I feel like Dungeons & Dragons has kind of become a ubiquitous part of our pop culture, but I am mentioning it just to say it. The movie does a good job of balancing action and comedy in a very pleasant way. I was actually pretty surprised by the movie and just how well made it is. It doesn't do a lot of things unique, I would say, but it definitely has a certain vibe to it. It has a very enjoyable cast. The plot's a lot of fun, and it seems to really enjoy itself as an adaptation of Dungeons & Dragons. There are definitely a lot of references thrown in there. As a casual person who only, understands Dungeons & Dragons differently, the few tabletop games I've played have not been Dungeons & Dragons. I've done a little bit of World of Darkness stuff. I'm working on a campaign with a friend of mine right now, and I've also done some custom campaigns. I've never actually played Dungeons & Dragons itself, though, and as a result, a lot of the deeper references aren't things I well understand. However, I have seen other adaptations of Dungeons & Dragons-related material, such as The Legend of Vox Machina, so I am fairly familiar with it in a broader sense. The main plot is pretty simple on its face. Basically, you had a bard who used to work for this organization of spies and peacekeepers. His wife gets killed, and as a result, he has to make a new living for himself with his daughter. So he teams up with the barbarian Holga, and as a result, they end up being thieves. One day, though, they steal the wrong thing, and Holga and him get sent to prison after they're betrayed by the wizard who hired them, Sophina. After they get out, they find out that their friend Forge had become the Lord of Neverwinter, and Sophina's doing something, that she's actually evil, and they are definitely plotting some horrible thing. So they have to go steal the stuff back, save his daughter, and, out Forge as a fake. So it's a whole, let's get the band back together, let's do this big old heist, and let's see this coming. Well, it's a lot of Dungeons & Dragons and magic references sprinkled in. As I said, I can't really say too much about the plot, because I think it's fun to just go through plots like these without spoilers. So let's move on to the actors. First up, we have Chris Pines as Edgin. He's a bard, former of the Harpers. I would say Chris Pine does a very likable job of this. I really enjoyed him here. We have Michelle Rodriguez as Holga. She's just a riot. Then we have, and forgive me if I pronounce this incorrectly, Reggae Jean Page as a paladin who escaped the evil wizards in his home country, and now he is the iconic of goodness and virtue. He's basically the perfect true hero who doesn't get sarcasm. So think Thorin and mixed with Drax is one of the Guardian movies. It's not perfect, but it's as close as I can get it. Next up, we have Justice Smith as Simon. He's a half-elf, wild magic sorcerer. He's a descendant of some famous wizard, but he's notably terrible at magic. We have a tiefling druid by Sophia Litless. That's Doric. And then we have Hugh Grant as Forge. He's kind of one of the main villains. He's a lot of fun. He's like a con artist kind of guy. He's a great villain. Chloe Coleman plays Edgin's daughter, Kira. She has an invisibility amulet. She's not really in this a whole lot. Finally, we also have Sophina, is played by Daisy Head. She does a great job of playing her. I enjoyed the scenes where she was. She has this whole I am an unholy sorcerer vibe going on. Very nice. Really enjoy it. So with all that said and done, what are some of the standout things for this movie? Like I said, I liked it, but what are some of the best parts of it? Well, first off, it's a magic heist movie. And if you know me, you know I love the Six of Crows books. And that's magic heist. I love magic heist movies. Because the thing with magic is, if you want to make a good heist book or story or movie or something like that, you can't just have magic solve all the problems. You can't just be like, teleport in, steal the vault, teleport out. You have to give both sides magic, and so each side has supernatural abilities, and you have to figure out how to use your abilities to get past the other abilities. And that's what's really interesting. Most magic heist movies have them trying to go get artifacts in order to break in once they figure out what the protections are. Both sides have interesting magical abilities that lead to different degrees of freedom or attack. Oftentimes there are immense magical defenses they have to bypass, so we have to learn about them, study them, that kind of stuff. It adds a new dimension to heist movies that I've always found very interesting. There are two scenes in particular that are really, really good. The first up is the scene, so the tiefling druid can shapeshift into different animals. And there's this awesome scene where she goes into the castle to sneak in and figure out what the protections around the vault are as a little fly. And she's discovered and she has to run away. Then she turns her into a rat, and then a cat, and then a dog, and she's all over the place. And then she's a horse, and then she turns into a deer as she scoots out through the gates. And it's this really intense, really cool shapeshifter chase sequence. Honestly, when you give directors who actually know what they're doing the control of a character who canonically shapeshifts, they can do some really impressive stuff, and I was very excited to see what they did here. Then, you also had this thing called the Hither-Thither staff. And it's basically a staff that creates portal. It's basically a portal gun. Let's just put it that way. It's basically just a portal gun. It's a magic portal gun. And they use it for this awesome scene where they have to put this like portal frame into the car, this wagon that's being brought to the vault, disguised as a portrait. And it's just a really awesome scene. I freaking loved it. So yeah, this was amazing. Both those scenes owe their quality to the director. He does a lot of cool camera work with the portal as they're moving from different gravity perspectives and stuff like that. So I very much enjoyed that. I think he did a really good job with the directing and effects in this. We also got to see like a pudgy dragon when they go to the underworld to retrieve this magic helm to break some enchantments. And that was a lot of fun. They play around with some like raising the dead and stuff like that. It's all very interesting. I liked it. I liked it a lot. So we got good actors, good effects, pretty good story, with some surprises in there, nice cast, and cool directing tricks. What's not to love? I don't really have much more to say on this. It's just a fun movie that really has a lot to enjoy with. So let's move on to the conclusion. In conclusion, I really enjoyed Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves. I wouldn't say it's a wholly original movie. Like, it's not something you'll be like, oh, I've never seen any of this before. But I don't think I've quite seen it done this way before, if that makes sense. It also has a clear love for the source material of Dungeons & Dragons, and I'm very excited to see that Dungeons & Dragons getting a lot of adaptation lately. It has this great quality of being an infinite story generator, essentially. And this really does feel like a Dungeons & Dragons campaign brought to life on the big screen. It has a lot of idiocy and dumb moments, but it's also very fun and lighthearted, with some clear directing talent by John Goldstein, who's the main director of it. And quite frankly, I think this movie, if you're looking for some fun heist movie or some fun action comedy or a good fantasy movie, anyone who wants that will find this a wonderful watch. So I highly recommend it. 9 out of 10. Check it out. So, yeah. With all that out of the way, I am currently not going to do a spoiler section on this. I just don't feel like there's enough for me to go into a spoiler talk on. I have one or two scenes I might want to talk about, but I'm a little tired at the moment. And in general, I've just been up to a lot lately, so we're going to move on from here and get to our announcement. So, I've still got to go see Scream 6, and I've still got to see Shazam. The Mario movie's coming up soon. I will be releasing a review of the Dragon's Promise, and also of the Crystal Calamity Book 2, The Battle of Medicine Rocks. So look forward to those coming up in the future. I've also got a review of Hi-Fi Rush coming out soon. And I think that's basically it for the foreseeable future when it comes to reviews. I'll let you guys know if there's anything else that comes out soon, but that's basically all there is to it. So, yeah. I guess I'll see you guys next time. Moving on here, we have our outro. And hey, look, there's the subscribe orb. Go, subscribe, join my channel. Check out for new stuff, because I love recommending new things. And also, we got a video you might like and a playlist for all the stuff I've done this year. So check those out. See you guys next time. Bye.